This video has no pictures to watch, only a voice and a story. A story about money, but not the kind you hold. A story about a system so large that no one fully understood it. In the early 2000s, Wall Street had become something else entirely. A machine. Deals closed over dinners worth thousands. Hotel rooms paid $1,000, $5,000, $8,000 per night. And of course, nightclubs, parties, substances. Everything paid without hesitation. Because when money feels infinite, it stops feeling real. In the dark, systems look different. They stop feeling stable. They start feeling fragile. Tonight, we don't tell the story of a bank. We enter the moment the system stopped trusting itself. Tonight, Lehman Brothers. For decades, Lehman Brothers was not just a bank. It was a signal that things were working. Founded in 1850, not in New York, but in Montgomery, Alabama, three brothers, Harry, Emmanuel, Meyer Lehman. They started with a dry goods store, accepting cotton as payment, and from that, they built something larger. Cotton became capital. Capital became industry. Railroads, aviation, retail giants like Sears and Macy's. Over 158 years, Lehman became embedded. By 2007, 25,000 employees, a global presence, a culture people described as family. People stayed for decades. They believed in it. And that belief was the real asset. Because in finance, power doesn't come from money. It comes from trust. Trust that contracts hold, that loans return, that tomorrow behaves like yesterday. And for a long time, it did. But beneath that stability, something had changed. After the deregulation of the 1980s, Wall Street rewrote its philosophy. Debt was no longer danger, it was a tool. Leverage became religion. Banks stopped holding money, they started building structures. Layer upon layer. Mortgages became securities. Securities became derivatives. And somewhere in that transformation, risk disappeared. Or rather, it was hidden. Lehman, led by CEO Dick Fuld, the gorilla, leaned into it. Aggressive, combative. They bought subprime mortgages, loans given to people who could not repay them. They repackaged them, collateralized debt obligations, stamped AAA, sold to the world as safe. Even to ordinary investors in Asia, through products like mini bonds. And as long as prices rose, the system looked brilliant, efficient, innovative, safe. By 2007, $60 billion in revenue, $4 billion in profit. Stocks at $86. But underneath, Lehman held $600 billion in assets, backed by just $22 billion in equity. A leverage ratio close to 30-1. For every dollar it owned, it borrowed 30. In 2007, the illusion cracked. Housing prices slowed, then stopped, then reversed. Defaults began, and suddenly the system's foundation started dissolving. But the real problem wasn't the losses, it was uncertainty. No one knew what the risk was, not exactly, not clearly. And when a system becomes too complex to understand, it becomes impossible to trust. Early 2008, Bear Stearns collapses, saved only because the government intervenes. Lehman stocks drops 48%, but FALD dismisses it, threatens short sellers, projects strengths, until June 2008 at 2.8 billion loss, and now the signal was breaking. September 2008, closed doors. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York, executives, officials, the system talking to itself. One question: can Lehman be saved? Buyers emerge: Bank of America, Barclays, but they all ask for the same thing: protection, a government backstop. And this time, the answer is different. The answer is no. Secretary Paulson draws a line: no bailout, moral hazard. If you save them, they never stop gambling. Meanwhile, inside Lehman, employees drink beer, print documents, watch tennis. They assume a rescue is inevitable, because it always has been, until Sunday. The deals collapse. Bank of America walks away, chooses Merrill Lynch instead. Barclays is blocked, and suddenly there is no plan left. 1:45 a.m., September 15, 2008. Lehman Brothers files for bankruptcy. The largest in the US history. 613 billion in debts, 691 billion in assets, but only 7 billions in cash. And then nothing. No explosion, no dramatic collapse, just silence. Monday morning, employees arrive. Boxes, desks emptied. At 22 years old, learning what bankruptcy means for the first time on their first day. And then a realization spreads: if Lehman can fail, who is safe? The markets don't crash immediately. They hesitate. And in that hesitation, everything changes. Banks stop trusting banks. Lending slows, then stops. The Dow drops 500 points, the worst since 9/11. The global financial system locks, not because money vanished, but because certainty did. And without certainty, systems don't move. They freeze. Across the world, ordinary people feel it. 10,000 investors in Asia lose their savings. Protests, shock, heart attacks. Because the crisis was not just financial, it was psychological. A system built on trust had lost the ability to trust itself. Eventually, governments step in. $700 billion. TARP, to save what remains. Lehman did not break the system, it revealed it. A system of contradictions, where profits are private but losses are public. Where millions lose homes, while executives walk away with hundreds of millions of dollars. No jail time, no accountability, because modern systems are not held together by code or contracts or capital. They are held together by belief. And belief is fragile. It cannot be forced, it cannot be calculated, only maintained until it isn't. In the dark, collapse looks different, not as impact, but as doubt. The moment people stop asking what is happening and start asking, can I trust this? The day Lehman failed, the system didn't just lose a bank, it crossed the line from reality into simulation, where markets are no longer corrected but sustained, where trillions are injected to preserve the illusion. And for a moment, the world paused, because nothing is more dangerous than a system that no longer believes in itself. This was Darkroom Diaries, where system reveals what they hide when the lights go off in the dark.